5 simple steps to start making $100 a day online, selling online. Actually, you could easily multiply this as well, using these 5 steps over and over for a new product. This is what you're going to figure out with these steps. They're pretty simple, actually, and this is basically what I do all the time to increase the amount of money I make. Okay, first step, it's not exactly rocket science. You need to find a good product. Now, that's the question. How do you do that, right? Well, first, there's 2 different approaches. One would be name brand. The other would be sort of a generic accessory that can be used for highly popular name brand items. So either a name brand item or an accessory that's generic that can be used for highly popular name brand items, particularly cell phones and other electronics. And there's 2 approaches from there. Either you buy or you get this item from China or some foreign country, or you drop ship it from the USA. Now, I do both with the items I sell, but it's either going to be one or the other, okay? And obviously, if it's actually, technically speaking, even if it's a non-branded generic item, you could even do it from the USA, or technically speaking, from a store in the USA to your customer, like Amazon to eBay. But the thing is, though, the only issue with this is a lot of the techniques that people use are very futile when it comes to drop shipping from Amazon to eBay, because they take a very 2-dimensional approach. They follow something that's common that doesn't really work well, because for one, you need to make at minimum like 20-25% on the sale, because Amazon's going to take you at least 10-15% of it. So you want to at least make as much as they're making, right? Obviously. And wouldn't it be nice if you could make double? Wouldn't it be nice? And actually, I have items like this. If you wanted to buy my dropship list, I can give you items like this where you can double your money in the sale. Or I can, and in the process of buying my dropship list, I teach you how to find these kind of items on your own, so you don't ever have to buy a dropship list ever again. I will teach you 3 clever techniques that seem to match every single good dropship item I've ever found, where you're dropshipping from an American company to your customer in America. And I would give you that information for free with it. But that's one way, or buy from China. And when you buy from China, you have to be very careful as well, because there's a lot of bad product that you can buy from China, a lot of fake garbage. It's not as bad as it used to be, because they have feedback systems on these websites like AliExpress and stuff, but you have to still be very careful, because and that's why you want to be experimental, which I'm going to get to in step 2, 3, 4, and 5. But that's step 1. You need to find a product, like, again, either name brand or a non-branded item that is used for highly popular items, such as like a cell phone. Or it could be something completely unrelated to electronics, fashion or whatever. And again, either you'd be buying from China, or you would be buying from America, like Amazon, to ship to your customer on eBay, or eBay to Amazon. You can do it either way, or there's actually a lot of other companies you can buy from, Newegg and et cetera, et cetera. Other websites like Overstock.com, where you can buy from them and drop ship to your customer. Or even if you're selling power tools, it could be ToolKing.com and drop ship to your customer. What's the one I used to use all the time? I can't even remember their name now. It's been a couple of years since I've used them. I don't usually do direct sales anymore. I have my own dropship business. So, at any rate, that's how you identify product, good product. That's how you find good product. Now, step 2, you have to make sure the product is high quality and genuine. And this is kind of what I was talking about with the China one. You have to be very careful to make sure that what you're getting is high quality. And you can ask them, okay? And then you can look at their feedback. And then you can kind of figure out, as you get good at this, who's telling the truth, who's lying, so you don't end up wasting your money trying to figure it out the hard way, where you buy the item for yourself and see if it sucks. And of course, with the feedback system, that helps, obviously. Uh, and then also with Amazon, believe it or not, you have to be careful in those respects too. And they of course have a feedback system, and eBay has a feedback system. But there's a lot of other websites you can buy from. I bought from, when I used to do direct sales, Amazon 50% of the time, eBay about 20% of the time, Walmart about 10% of the time, and oh yeah, okay, I remember the power tool one now. It was Utter Guys. I bought from them actually a couple times, and it wasn't Lowe's. Was it Home Depot? I bought from sometimes, and dropship for power tools, and there's a bunch of others. I've probably dropship from about 100 different companies to my customers, and you know, so that's what you would have to do. You would have to deal with making sure it's high quality and genuine items. Okay. Number 3, create an advertisement that precisely describes the item and indicates all the specifics of the item. Okay. And this is very important. If you know, some people get a little sloppy because they're not familiar with the product. You need to become familiar with the product. Okay. Because there might be 10 different variations of it, and you think you're selling one particular variation, and you're actually not. You're selling one that's just slightly different, and the customer is going to get pissed off at you because you're stupid and don't know the difference. And then you're going to get annoyed because you're going to have problems, and it doesn't look good on your account when something goes wrong, obviously. So make sure that you know that you have the exact right model, color, etc., etc. Okay? There's also issues with color. I mean, you think it's black, and it has like a red pinstripe on it. And the guy bought matte black from you, which is pure black, and you sent him black with a red pinstripe. He don't want that. Okay? He don't want that. He wants the matte. You see what I mean? Stuff like that. Really stupid stuff. And it will irritate you when you make mistakes like that. Another thing, make sure you put longer time frame for when you ship the item. I don't care if you think it's going to arrive in 3 days. Put 6 days. Okay? The reason why is because if it lands in 4 days and you said 3 days, they're going to give you a negative in some cases because they're anal. Okay? People can be anal sometimes. Not everybody, but some customers can be anal. If you said 6 days and it arrived in 4 days, then they'd be happy. See what I'm getting at? So you made the perception in their minds. If you told them it would be 3 days and it took 4 days, you just screwed yourself. If you said 6 days and it took 4 days, they're happy because you set the parameters off the bat and you shot yourself in the foot. So this is kind of an important factor a lot of people don't think of. Make sure you're listing where it's being shipped from in the advertisement, because some people actually get anal about that as well. So that's number 3. Okay, creating an advertisement that precisely is accurate and it sets the perception correctly in the mind of the customer so that they are not surprised or unhappy because something doesn't go the way they expected. Number 4, start selling it scientifically. Okay, what I mean by that is you start selling this new item very slowly at first. You sell a couple and you watch to see what happens, if there's any issues. If it took longer to ship than you expected, if it was the wrong color and you weren't thinking, or you know what I mean, just some, and you'd be like, oh, I won't make that mistake. You'd be surprised what mistakes some people make. It could be just like you thought it was the same model and it was a slightly different version with an extra letter on the end, you know, MK-17, and you forgot the F on the end. It's a different model. Really stupid stuff like that. Or it's, especially with these cell phones, man, there's like a bazillion different little, you know, features and specifications, and they got all these different variants, you know what I mean? So you got to be very careful with all that. So you make sure, you know, do a couple sales, make sure everybody's happy, make sure everything's going right before you start going bonkers with it. That's 1. 2, you should steadily increase it anyway. So particularly if it's a new eBay or Amazon account, they don't trust you. They don't know who you are. So why should they trust you? So, you know, you have to build up the trust. Okay, you build it up showing that, hey, look, they got the product and they gave them a positive feedback and they weren't pissed off, so we can trust this guy, you know, and then you just continually increase as you go on. And also with the scientific selling, the idea is you start figuring out how to maximize it as well. As you're escalating it, You need to ask yourself, for one, you need to figure out the profit range. You need to maximize the profits. You need to see if selling it at a higher price will make you more profits or less profits. It will sell more times or less times, etc., etc. Then you need to start brainstorming and figuring out all the different categories you can put it in. Brainstorm keywords. If it's Amazon, make sure you list on every single ad for that product, because there could be 4 different pages for the same product on Amazon sometimes, and sometimes you can double list on the same ad. I've had sellers do that, and they'll actually get more sales because they double list. Even if they're the only seller, they still double list, and it works. So you need to start brainstorming and thinking, how can you maximize this as well? And that's number 5, maximize your sales. Vary the categories and titles daily for each listing. Vary the times of day it is listed. Be scientific about it. Use something like eBay Manager Pro or Octavia to be able to analyze which listing scripts are making the most sales, which ones are faltering, and then the ones that are faltering you change and modify, try to make them work. The ones that are working you expand on and make more versions of it or put it up at more times. And this is how you maximize your listings. Okay, and something like eBay Manager Pro, it might cost you so much money a month, but it's well worth it if you got something really going that makes money, and you start maximizing the listings, you'll start making a lot of money. It won't, that $50 means nothing, you know what I mean, or whatever it costs now. So these are the 5 steps. You go through all these steps for each product, and some products will be, you know, a little bit winners. Some of them will not really do much. Some will be total home runs. You'll start selling like crazy right off the bat. You do it with about 10 different products, you'll find at least one of them is a home run, 1 or 2 maybe, and you'll have about 2 or 3 of them that are just good. They're just making sales. It's consistent, and then you'll have like 3, 4, 5 maybe even that don't really do much. You know what I mean? It's something like that. That's kind of what happens, and all you do is you just keep building on it. You just find more home runs. And what ends up happening also is you might start cutting out the ones that aren't really doing anything. They're just wasting your time, and you just focus on the home run ones. What's the point of selling something that doesn't make a lot of money and it wastes your time? So you got to consider your time, that it's efficient. So, and of course, like I said, you can't go bonkers right off the bat. If you find a home run, you don't just start selling it like crazy, because the people get greedy. You have to look at yourself. I'm not saying you're greedy. What I'm saying is you're like, once you want to make a bunch of money, eBay doesn't know who you are. Amazon doesn't know who you are. If you start selling something like 5 times a day, the same expensive item that costs $100, $200, $300, $400, and you're selling it 5 times a day or 10 times a day or whatever, or even maybe 3 times a day, and you just start selling it and it's selling like crazy, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And then they shut you down because you're selling like crazy and you didn't have any history on your account. They don't know who you are. Yeah, that happens all the time. Trust me, it does. So that's why you start out slow. You throttle it slowly so you don't screw yourself. And then you can get up to that point where you are selling 5 a day, and Amazon and eBay leave you alone, and everybody's happy. You're making money, and you see what I'm getting at. So don't let your desire to succeed get in the way of your success. You know what I mean? At any rate, thanks for watching.